What if some of America's closest allies are quietly building alternatives to Visa and Mastercard? As geopolitical tensions rise and economic policies become more unpredictable, governments across Europe and Canada are increasingly treating payment networks as critical infrastructure. The implications could reshape global finance for years to come. Your roadmap to the latest in auto. Welcome to Highway Herald. Today we'll examine how Europe and Canada are pursuing greater financial independence and why the future of global payments may be entering a dramatic new era. Number 5. Inside the $24 trillion payments powerhouse. Before understanding why Europe and Canada are pursuing alternatives, it's important to recognize the enormous scale of Visa and Mastercard. Built through decades of innovation and global expansion, Visa processed roughly $16.7 trillion in payment volume during fiscal 2025, while Mastercard operates one of the world's largest payment networks. Together, they power a significant share of global digital commerce, supporting everything from travel bookings and online shopping to international business transactions. For years, these networks delivered convenience, security, and seamless cross-border commerce. However, recent geopolitical events revealed another reality. Payment infrastructure can also represent strategic influence. The suspension of Visa and Mastercard operations in Russia raised concerns among policymakers about dependence on systems outside national control. As a result, governments increasingly view payment networks as critical infrastructure, accelerating efforts to develop alternative systems that strengthen economic resilience and flexibility. And nowhere is that shift more visible than in Europe, where policymakers are actively building an alternative designed to reduce dependence on foreign-controlled payment networks. Number 4. Europe's Wero strategy takes shape. Europe is accelerating its push for greater payment independence through Wero, a digital payment platform backed by major European banks and the European Payments Initiative. Already attracting tens of millions of users across Germany, France, and Belgium, Wero represents more than just another payment app. It reflects Europe's broader goal of building a payment ecosystem with greater regional control and resilience. European leaders and the European Central Bank have increasingly emphasized payment sovereignty, with ECB President Christine Lagarde also supporting the development of a future digital euro. Supporters believe these initiatives will strengthen economic flexibility, increase consumer choice, and reduce dependence on foreign-controlled networks. Rather than replacing Visa and Mastercard outright, Europe aims to create credible alternatives that provide greater strategic independence in an increasingly uncertain global environment. But Europe isn't pursuing this strategy alone. Across the Atlantic, Canada is quietly advancing its own effort to strengthen financial resilience and reduce vulnerabilities within critical payment infrastructure. Number 3. Canada's push for greater payment independence. While Europe develops Wero, Canada is strengthening its own financial resilience through domestic payment infrastructure. Canada already benefits from Interac, one of the world's most successful debit payment systems, but the country remains heavily dependent on Visa and Mastercard for credit card transactions. As payment systems are increasingly viewed as critical infrastructure, policymakers are exploring ways to diversify payment options. A key initiative is Real-Time Rail, expected to launch in late 2026, which will enable instant account-to-account payments nationwide. Canada is also evaluating new frameworks for emerging payment technologies, including stablecoins and next-generation providers. Inspired in part by successful systems like Brazil's Pix, Canada aims to enhance flexibility and resilience while remaining fully integrated into global trade and financial markets. Before we reveal the final 2 developments, which may actually explain why governments are accelerating these changes, take a moment to subscribe to Highway Herald. If you're enjoying this breakdown of the forces reshaping global commerce, financial systems, and economic policy, subscribing helps us continue bringing you in-depth analysis on the stories that matter most. Now, the next development involves a staggering $166 billion controversy that has captured the attention of businesses, investors, and policymakers alike. Number 2, the $166 billion tariff refund debate. While Europe and Canada build alternative payment systems, the United States is grappling with a separate controversy involving an estimated $166 billion in tariff-related refund claims. Following legal challenges to tariff collections, hundreds of thousands of importers across industries such as automotive manufacturing, technology, retail, and logistics became eligible to seek refunds. For some companies, potential recoveries could reach hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars. However, the issue has become politically sensitive, placing businesses between shareholder expectations and public scrutiny. Consumers have also questioned whether savings should be passed on after years of higher prices. Beyond the money involved, the controversy underscores the importance of predictability in economic policy, as businesses depend on stable rules and long-term certainty when making major investment decisions. Yet the refund debate may be only a symptom of a much larger transformation, one that helps explain why countries around the world are increasingly seeking alternatives and greater control over critical systems. Number 1. The quiet shift away from single-system dependence. The biggest story isn't Wero, the digital euro, Canada's real-time rail, or even the $166 billion tariff refund debate. It's the broader shift towards strategic diversification. For decades, globalization prioritized efficiency, encouraging nations to build interconnected financial systems, supply chains, and technology networks. Today, resilience is becoming equally important. Governments increasingly want backup systems, alternative suppliers, and greater control over critical infrastructure in case geopolitical tensions, sanctions, cyber attacks, or economic disruptions occur. This trend extends beyond finance into areas such as semiconductors, artificial intelligence, energy security, telecommunications, and critical minerals. While global trade remains essential, countries are becoming less dependent on systems they don't control. The result is a future where multiple payment networks coexist, offering greater flexibility, competition, and resilience. And that brings us to the broader conclusion: what all of these developments could mean for the future of global finance over the next decade. Verdict: the global payments transformation. The developments unfolding across Europe, Canada, and the United States extend far beyond credit cards, digital wallets, or tariff refunds. They reflect a much larger shift in how governments view economic security, resilience, and strategic independence. Countries aren't necessarily abandoning American financial infrastructure. Instead, they're making sure they have alternatives available if circumstances change. The next decade could determine whether global payments remain concentrated among a few dominant networks or evolve into a far more diversified ecosystem. What do you think? Will Visa and Mastercard remain as dominant in 2035 as they are today? Do you believe Europe's Wero and Canada's real-time rail can become serious competitors over time? And is strategic diversification a smart move? Or could it create new challenges for global commerce? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to Highway Herald and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next vehicle update, industry analysis, and major developments shaping the future of business, technology, and transportation. Thanks for watching and see you next time. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's more exciting and informative content waiting for you.